Hi there, this is Dani, and the channel's You and Me Living Free, and today we are in Chiricahua National Monument. This place is gorgeous. Chiricahua means standing rock, I believe is the loose translation from the Apache, the Chiricahua Apache Indians who lived here for hundreds of years, maybe even longer, and then of course we know what happened, a similar story as to a lot of what happened to the native people who were here as we, came in and took the land and relocated them to reservations in Oklahoma and in New Mexico. So I just want to show a little respect for the native people, the indigenous people who were here before us, as I talk about Chiricahua, because this was just a gorgeous place, a beautiful place, spiritual place, and you can see these views are incredible. One of my favorite things about Chiricahua is that you are in the canyon looking up at the spires. So a lot of places that you go, like the Grand Canyon, like Bryce Canyon, like the Badlands, you're kind of standing above and looking down at canyons and how cool they are. And that is a really neat perspective, and I like that. But I love being at the bottom of a canyon and being able to look up at all of these rock formations, look at all of this greenery and all of these trees and even grasses when we are still so much in the desert. You can see also different cacti and things, agave, different kinds of vegetation, all kind of living together in this one environment. And that was really cool. Mostly just the gorgeousness, though, I'm not going to lie. And I did have this feeling like this place just had a really profound kind of spiritual, wonderful feeling to it. You know how you go someplace and you feel the energy of it, right? This place is amazing. I would love to go back and spend even more time. But it's about 40 minutes or so off of the interstate. If you're taking I-10 across the southern part of the United States, or the part of the Southwest, then I would encourage you to come down. If you're lucky enough to get a campsite in the park, that's what I did, and I'll show you my camp spot here in a few minutes. If you're lucky enough to get a spot in the campground at the monument there, then I suggest that you do it. It was fantastic, and you'll see it's like completely covered in trees and everything. This was so much shadow, so much shade, so much greenery. I have been in the desert, for 6 weeks or more. So to be around all this greenery plus the cool rock formations was just the perfect thing at the perfect time. And I loved it here. I wonder if you can tell that I loved it here. Have I made it obvious? Have I made it clear enough that I think you should put it on your list? I also wanted to just briefly say that before I started to travel, I started to collect places and ideas of places that I wanted to go. So I was getting too many of them and they were all jarbled. So I created like a spreadsheet and I listed them by state. And anytime anybody would tell me anything, I would write it down, but I would also maybe make a note of listen to this person or where it came from, or maybe a question mark as in somebody brought it up but I don't know. Then I'd start to do my own research and find out if I really wanted to go somewhere or not. And I also had a rule that if a minimum of two people mention the same place to me, then I was definitely going to put it on the list and try to make an attempt to go there, because I was taking it as kind of a sign that it is something that I should do. That system worked so well for me. My friend Mary told me about this place, and then when I did the research, I was convinced I needed to go. Then someone else brought it up to me, and I knew third time was a charm. I knew I needed to come here. This is just giving you a little breakdown of what it was like to drive up to one of the peaks. And I did a hike at the top of the peak as well, and I'm going to do a separate hiking video. For now, let's go back to the camping spot. This is a campground within the National Monument. It's called Bonita Canyon Campground, and it was delightful. Look at all this shade. It was a nice, big, beautiful spot. It was only $20, and I reserved it online. It was the only spot available, and it was only available for one night, so I jumped on it. You know, every once in a while you can find something. It had the grill, it had the food box and the picnic table, the whole 9 yards. It also had bathrooms but no showers, giving you a super quick peek inside the van right here, just in case you haven't seen it for a while. I have redone it a little bit here and there, so anyway, just a little peek at that, completely set up. This is part of the campground as well. You're driving through basically this creek bed, which is dry most of the time, although they had pictures from when it did flood back in 2013. But most of the time it's just a dry creek bed, and you drive right through it and have a little bridge on the other side. It was a delightful little magical campground. I highly recommend it. Okay, what else do I want to say about this place? Any final thoughts before I go? I don't think so. Oh, let's talk about breakfast. I don't know how appetizing this looks. I did not take this as like a food shot. It was kind of just to remind myself. This avocado toast was some of the best I've ever had. So some things that you make in the van just aren't quite as good. I mean, you only have the skillet, right? So it's hard. You can't really bake things. You can't really toast things. At least I can't. But one of the things that is even better on the road is toast. And this avocado toast was amazing. This is just regular bread cut in half. I put a little butter in the bottom of the skillet, and then I toasted the bread on both sides, and it was fabulous with a little avocado and a little egg. Here's another little something that I made. This was just a hodgepodge. I carry those Uncle Ben's little packets of rice, where they're flavored rice sometimes, and if you're at home, then you pop it in the microwave for 90 seconds. But if you're on the road, you can just throw it into the skillet and add just a tiny bit of liquid, and it does great. So this is just a peek at a little hodgepodge I did of a bunch of extra stuff that I had left over. I had corn, I had zucchini, and I almost always have onions and peppers, and I threw them all in and made this, and it was delicious. And so just a couple little sneak peek things of cooking in the van. Everybody seems to love those little recipes or those little tidbits about van cooking, because it is not the easiest thing, and it does take some work to get around it, but it can be amazing. And thank you to my patrons from Patreon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want to support the channel, please look at the description below the video and it'll have a link for you. There is also a link to PayPal if you just want to make a little one-time donation, even buying me a cup of coffee. Everything helps. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you love Chiricahua. I hope you get to go there sometime. And I am sending you a ton of love. You made it to the end of a video, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.